Hi guys, welcome to the Leo full moon. Leo full moon, sun in Aquarius. Actually, it's a supermoon, setting off a series of supermoons. Virgo, Libra, and then stops at Scorpio. Right, we've got all this very, very dry, very heavy, very responsible energy going on at the moment, right? What have we done? What are we achieving? Where are we at? Who the fuck are we? Are we anyone? It's all a bit much. Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, all in Capricorn, Mars soon to follow. It's a bit dry. This full moon really does come at such a good time, I think. If anything, just to lighten things up, Leo, sign of, let's be honest, majestic, strength, bravery, courage. And I think the opposite end of that is fear. And I think a lot of us have been leading this very fear-driven life. And a lot of it has got to do with just the cosmic climate at the moment. It is really heavy. Sun is in Aquarius. That's super detached. It's super cold. There's no emotion here. There's like no real heart connection. Venus is going, well, I think Venus is leaving Pisces. So there was an element of real illusion to the mix. Let's be honest now, like, what is the present? How stable are these times, really? And there's all this, like, really almost forceful push by this Capricorn energy to be the Knight of Pentacles. Details of the cards will be in the description box below. Right, to be the Knight of Pentacles, again, achieving money, finances. Where am I? Where's my future? Where am I going with all of this? And there's been a lot of, like, get organized and get on top of your shit and do all of this and, you know, get yourself together. But there is this risk of almost keeping yourself, like, very much being about the project, but keeping yourself quite small because, frankly, you're coming from fear-based manifestation, which is almost keeping you limited, never really getting you further than where it is that you want to go. So there is all this, like, idea of grandeur and almost this delusionment, especially when it comes to ambition and how we're getting to what we need to do and, you know, the things that we're doing. But, you know, until we don't access a bit of lightheartedness, and I think this full moon is going to be a great channel to it, it's almost like remaining in a very wanting to do, like, it's having your heart in the right place, wanting to do it, but not quite hitting the mark. So, that little light of yours, this little light of mine, how am I gonna let it shine? And I think this full moon is really about that, shining your independent, individual light. Yes, we understand Saturn's in Capricorn, that's a lot of integrity, it's a lot of very serious energy, it's a lot to do with, like, what am I achieving? What have I achieved? I've got to achieve all of this stuff. I need all the stability and finances in the world. But really and truly, what is so stable about these transits that we're going through at the moment? Communication gets really unclear when Mercury goes into Pisces. It's not that Pisces is unclear. It's just that there's a lot of, like, in the head energy. Again, very much like Aquarius. But it's so, you know, crisscross in every direction. It's difficult to determine a solid direction. Two of Swords. There's way too much control. I think this full moon might even be asking us to look at our control and maybe go in, or maybe stop spending so much time in. Like, you should have done the whole inside thing already. Leo is very focused on the heart. It's, you know, sun energy. So it's very much the ego. It's the now. It's what do I want now? How do I make the best of what I have here, presently, in front of me? Not getting too caught up in, you know, the very dryness of everything that's going on. There needs to be fire. There needs to be passion. The joy, creation, come from the heart. Let's see. Okay. 4. This full moon, I have the 3 of Cups. Celebration, lightheartedness. Friends, family, joyous occasions, getting together, celebrations. and I have the Hierophant. So this is maybe the connection to something greater. And I think if we are to look at the Leo tarot card of strength, it is the lion connecting to something that is perhaps more in control. And there seems to be this element here with the Two of Swords of control. The Hierophant for me in this reading is almost indicating that there needs to be an element of surrendering control to something greater than us, and using the wisdom of, of accepting that not everything is in our hands right now, other than this Three of Cups, which is the invitation to have that joyous time. It is the invitation to maybe use this very serious, heavy energy and convert it into something quite lighthearted. And the best way that you can perhaps do that is to live through love, live through your heart, right? So, live through your heart. Live through your heart this full moon. This full moon. Leo, for me, it's the card of, yes, self-mastery, but it's not needing to be held down so tightly to the earth, to being grounded, for being so serious. It's happy to play in between. It's happy to go from the lion to the maiden. It is that ascension for me. It is that growing process. And it is almost surrendering control to everything that is so Knight of Pentacles. That is this Saturn and Jupiter energy that is so serious, that wants us to put in the hard work, because it's all about, integrity and achieving what's right and being the best of us. And I think it's so important to just bear in mind right now how the importance of faith and spiritual practice is sort of going to carry us through this really heavy energy, when all we really need to do is maybe get out of our heads, Two of Swords, and lighten up, Three of Cups. Lighten up. I keep saying lighten up. The full moon trines Mars. And I think that might have a lot to do with fear. Two of Swords is fear. It's too self-conscious, too self-aware. Knight of Pentacles, set to achieve, trying to achieve, not quite there. Heart being completely in the right place, totally trying to manifest and create. And even having the resources, but somehow not quite managing to do it. The Hierophant, quite clearly, a very important card for this full moon. It is, trying to access the greater wisdom. It is trying to access the greater channels in the universe to create fearlessness, deeper meaning in our existence, deeper meaning in our achievements, fun even, or allowing oneself the fun. That is a very necessary part of the creation process, the manifestation process. And we are so early on in the year. Everything's a bit up in the air still, isn't it? It's still part of the void. So, control, fear, very heavy. Does full moon lighten up? I still haven't thought about how I want to do this. Should I do a card for every sign? Let's start with Aquarius. Let's have a card for Aquarius for this full moon. Joy. I'm so glad that the sun came out in time for this reading. Leo full moon. And of course, we've got to go through Cancer before we get there. So everything like emotional is being dragged out. Everything emotional is being dragged out. But of course, when the moon is full, you look at it. You're forced to look at it. And I think while Venus is in Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces, now Mercury's in Pisces, there is a romantic edge to things. Sepia feel to things. No, I don't think this is how this reading wants to work. Give me a card for Aquarius now. There we go. 8 of Swords and 3 of Swords. So I don't think the reading is going to be like, I'm going to do it for each sign. I think these two cards came up for a reason, and it might even be like part of the greater message for this full moon. 8 of Swords, very much self-imprisonment. Very much the prison that we create in our mind. Fear, doubts, paranoias, self-limiting beliefs. 3 of Swords. Again, heartbreaks, paranoias, heavy energy. This is not... You know what? I think if this has been a theme recently of where we're lacking or where we know that relationships are perhaps not for us and what we're willing to accept knowing damn well that we shouldn't be, this full moon might even ask us to just really... understand that we only really live once. We're only here once, right? Life is gonna promise you death. So while we're here, let's take the edge of it a little bit. This kind of energy is fucking mental. It's so unnecessary. I know there's a lot of sentimental energy with a lot of these planets in Pisces, but even Pisces, it's about freedom. It's the greater freedom. It's a culmination of the life cycle. So let's take the Leo full moon as almost like a 3 of Swords, 8 of Swords energy as being the thing that is completely irrational and completely unnecessary and almost devoid of purpose. Because since we all know we're promised death and we're not really here for a finite amount of time, and even if we were here for a finite amount of time, I think it's very important to remember that when you're younger, you need people. When you get to your stage of independence, your independent years, you're able to create and do everything you want to do. But as you get older, you become dependent again. Being dependency is dependent on a lifestyle, a hurt, a heartache. It might not be the thing anymore because it kind of might mean that you're always at that Knight of Pentacles stage of being ready and prepared to do stuff but not quite making it work. Nice idea though. Nice try. A for effort though. It's kind of, this full moon is almost like a transition between the Knight of Pentacles to the Hierophant. And there's a lot of oneness that needs to happen in between all of that. I don't think these are cards for us. Full moon in Leo. Get in your heart chakra. A lot of green stones. And relax, really. Enjoy yourself. Just try and have as much fun as you can. Drink. Get out your head and into your circle of friends. That's where the superpower, the Leo superpower is. Courage, bravado, strength. Pick yourself up. Dust yourself off. I just saw the moon. Enjoy this full moon. Okay? It's going to be a necessarily important one. A break in all of this really heavy, serious energy. Just chill the fuck out. Alright? Go with it. Take care.